So we're just gonna tell a story on our experience working at McDonald's, or in Australia we call it Macca's. Or what the fuck do they call it in the UK?
Like Mackey's or some shit.
Mackey's. In the Philippines they call it McDo.
Yeah, so we were about 15 when we started.
We got
Year
the job,
9.
I think we got the job, we just turned 15.
So at the end of our freshman year, or year 9, we both got a job at McDonald's. But we didn't start until the start of the next year. So just before our sophomore year, basically. And just before year 10.
Because we had a Philippines trip, we went overseas. And we got the job. And we got a job at the same time, we're in the same group interview. That interview was funny as fuck. They asked like retarded questions. They made us do like a puzzle piece. And I remember I was there, I was like, for real? And
Even,
just lots
even
of
the
young
application
guys.
process was funny as fuck.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, it was
you
funny.
upload your resume, you have to answer all these multiple choice questions, do a bunch of puzzles and shit online. But that was
Yeah.
pretty funny. But yeah, eventually we both got interviews.
And
Made
the
it to
same
the
day,
interview.
we had the same group
Yeah.
interview.
It was a group
And it was
interview
like-
of like 10 guys and a few girls maybe.
And we knew guys in the interview.
Yeah,
some
we
of
had
our boys in
two of
high
our
school.
mates there as well.
Yeah. And one of the exercises they got you to do was like partner up with someone who else is in the group, and then you have to like get to know each other, then the person's gonna like ask you questions about each other kind of thing.
Funny enough, I got partnered with a guy who's much older than me. We were filling out some forms and doing a bunch of like government shit, like your tax file number or whatever. In Australia, most jobs you have to take if you're from Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander, which is basically Indigenous Australians. And in that section, it says like, do you have a disability? And I saw him take, I didn't tell anyone. Pretty interesting, because I never would have expected it from that guy after our like group interview, because the way the group interview ran was they obviously asked a bunch of questions, you go around the table, and then the exercise at the end was like you had to introduce the person you're partner up with to the whole group. So like the guy I partnered up with, I think his name is Ben. I was like, oh yeah, Ben likes doing this, he's studying this at uni, and you say it to the whole group.
This guy, you could tell, and it was pretty cool to have that experience. Like he got the job as well. I had like just some random kid. It was very normal. It was super surface level, but we both got the jobs, and it was funny because I think, wait, you were supposed to be front, or I was supposed to be front?
Yeah.
So one of us was meant to be kitchen, one of us was meant to be front, but then we had mates in the store who were like, you know, front's retarded. It's way worse. It's way less chill. So go kitchen.
Yeah.
And then
But
we
also, I think it was because the trainer who was meant to train, it was a lot easier if they trained both of us, like a 2-on-1, like we'd understand everything the exact same way, so it was more efficient for them if we just both did the same thing. So we both ended up working the kitchen, and lucky for us, it's kind of like a meme in our school, because a lot of the boys and girls from our high school would work up at this particular McDonald's. So we already had a bunch of friends working there, and many more friends ended up getting the job after we got our job. So yeah, that was pretty cool.
So that's a story on how we actually got the job. Now on the job, it was very chill. It's like, you know, you're like 15, no one really cares too much. We were like making burgers, flipping burgers and nuggets and fries. No, actually not fries. But we would just be in the back, just making the food. And a lot of times you're just pretending to clean if it's not busy, or if it's busy, you're obviously doing a lot of work. It's really chill though, because we had friends there in high school. We were all the same age. It was just like hanging out with your friends, but you're kind of getting paid for it. Depending if it was quiet or not. If it's busy, obviously, sometimes like managers get pissed and stuff. But
yeah, sometimes it didn't even feel like working. It felt like
Yeah.
we were just hanging out with friends. Sure, we were making burgers on the side, but like some parts it was definitely super fun.
yeah, like especially if it wasn't so busy and no one was super serious, and you know there was only like one manager who's like a chill guy on the floor. If there's like multiple managers, like the head managers there, it's kind of the age, they expect a lot from you. I mean, fair enough, I totally get it, but then it's sometimes like, yeah, you actually having to work hard, and they try and stress you out. They like try and stress you out for no reason. I mean, because we were a kitchen, we never really dealt with customers. We were never too stressed ever, but definitely the people at front, they would be stressed out for sure. So we were earning like $11 an hour Australian
As a 15-year-old.
As a 15-year-old. Then when you come 16, it's like 13. Then when you come 17, it was like 18. Like it moved up pretty quickly once you got older. So that's why they kept hiring young guys, like 15 and under. So one of the biggest lessons that I got there is that it sort of taught me, like, you know, the value of money. You know, you have to work to get this money. And it also reminded me of like what I actually don't want to do for the rest of my life, because when you're there, yeah, it was really cool hanging out with friends, but
Yeah, and it's also cool like having your own money for the first time. Like, sure, we got a bit of pocket money when we were younger, but we never had our own actual money. So like, you know, you work a month or something, you save up quite a bit, and you can buy cool shit. Like,
yeah, we buy
you know,
buy shoes, video games,
buy shoes, new clothes, video games,
V-Bucks, fucking
yeah. Fortnite was huge at the time. And yeah, just like going out, getting food at the canteen.
We had like HSPs. Lots of people, bro. Everyone steals food. At least at my Mac's, like everyone was stealing food, like burgers, chips, fries. You just make something and
Nuggets.
steal it. Obviously,
It was
the managers
actually-
would be
yeah.
like, you know, don't steal. But if they catch you stealing, which I've seen many people get caught stealing, they're just like, don't do it again, or don't do it in front of me. But like everyone steals so much food. I
Yeah.
think we bulked a fuck ton in a bad way. Like we
I
started
think,
going to the gym, but it was bad, like the bulking we did there because of like all the food we had. And there's also spare food as well that they're gonna throw. So they're like, just eat it.
Yeah, and I think
So many cunts
our
steal
Mac
food,
is. They said something like they lose over 1,000. Like when they do their stock checks or something, they lose over 1,000 nuggets a week or something.
Yeah, it's like
something
it's gone
ridiculous.
vanished, and it's like cunts have been eating it.
Yeah,
in the
but
store. We had a big
it's
store.
it's a lot of like, you know, people stealing food, people dropping food, people having to make extra stuff, people giving free stuff. Yeah, giving an extra nugget or something. But yeah, that's pretty relevant. But the funny thing that, I mean, now, like us working in McDonald's, that definitely like shaped the way we think about work and stuff. It gave us perspective for sure. A thing that happened for me when I was there was, let's say this guy wasn't a manager, he was just under manager. So he was like training people and kind of managing at the same time. And his shift was ended, right? So it was time for him to go home. And he was like, all right, see you boys, I'll see you tomorrow or something, right? And I see this guy, like under the bench. He just made, well, first of all, he made like a burger that wasn't on the burgers to make. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, I didn't see that. Maybe I missed it, right? And when this guy leaves, he put it under the bench. So he got the burger under the bench and fucking put it in his hat like this. And it's like, see you boys, I'm going. And I was like, what? This guy's
this guy was
guy's-
a goody two shoes.
yeah,
like
goody two shoes, like
manager's
he sucked
pet,
off the manager's
pet, like full.
Yeah,
You have
and
to
he was-
follow the rules. You have
yeah.
to follow procedure. This is not procedure. What are you doing?
Yeah, when he trained us, he was like, no, you have to do it like this because that's the procedure. Okay,
like
cool.
like the cringe type
Yeah,
of doing
and,
it.
and this guy, the by the book guy, steals a burger.
Yeah,
I was like,
cunt.
there's no way this
Yeah.
cunt's getting away with it if I'm not. So, yeah, there was huge culture in that.
Don't recommend stealing.
Yeah,
though.
don't recommend.
I don't recommend stealing. It's
We did it
not
for a
nice
bit.
spots.
Yeah, the food's like.
That's just reality of what happened in those places.
Yeah, well, we like always we did that a lot because you know everyone else did it, but then when we started, you know, seeing the health issues that come
Macca's
with
is
it,
fucked.
like
Yeah,
the Macca's
it's
food.
fucked. When you see where it
we just
comes
stopped
from-
because it was pretty fucked.
When you see where it comes from and like the deep fried shit, it's fucked. I remember one time, so there's a deep fryer machine and there's like a full plastic that melted inside, and then one of the guys, some young kid, he accidentally like put a whole plastic bag into the deep fryer and it like melted and vanished. And then he told the manager saying, "Oh, I accidentally put a plastic. Can we change the oil?" And the manager's like, "Oh, don't worry about it." And I was
Yeah,
like, "What the
that's
fuck? You're eating plastic, cunt?" Yeah, I'm not eating this shit anymore. So obviously we stopped.
Also, some like, you know, a lot of people like half-ass making the food and stuff. Like they overcook meat, cold shit.
Cold
that's
shit's been
cooked
so
for
old.
ages.
4 hours ago.
It's like I've even seen some cunts. Food would drop on the floor, like nuggets would drop on the floor. They pick it up and put it in a box. Like it's actually fucked. Like I could never do that. But guys at our store did that. So yeah, definitely put a perspective. Now, what I want to talk about is when I started realizing that I need to look for a new job. I was working with one of our friends from high school. Alfonso was pretty close to this guy in like year 7 or something. So we're friends. We were kind of good friends, but not really. This guy was like on the way to becoming a like crew trainer, which is the one step above just a normal like Macca's employee. Basically, it was kind of busy, and he was like the leader of the kitchen. I was like the second leader, right? Something like that. Essentially, he was like, "Oh shit, like it's getting so busy." And then the manager is saying like, "Oh, waiting on a Big Mac," which means like they're waiting on a fucking Big Mac because someone at drive-thru is like waiting for it, right? And it's up to the kitchen to make it. And he was like getting super duper stressed. It all hit me. I was like, "Why are you stressed? Like, what's the point?" He's like, "Because we're not performing at what we're meant to be." I'm like, "Yeah, but I mean, we are. Well, we're doing our best. Like, there's not much we can do to improve. The front fucked up something, and then now they're getting mad at us for taking ages for burgers." And I was like, "Why would you be stressed?" And then this guy went home like super pissed off. He was like slamming everything, and it was just such a negative energy that I didn't want to be around. I was like, "What the fuck?" And then as I thought about it more, the only reason why we work at Macca's, well, the main reason is for money, right? We're young, we want money.
And learning.
Yeah, obviously learning, making friends, and working in a team, whatever, right? But the main thing is money. And this guy was affecting his life stressing out his life, being in a bad mood, having negative energy to everyone around him because of something he truly wasn't in control of, because the front fucked up something. And now he's putting that on me. Whereas me, I always have a smile to my face. I'm never in a bad mood from work. Even if managers shout at me because I know it's not my fault, because I know the front fucked up something and I'm in the kitchen. And it's funny because like when front only people work kitchen, they're like, oh shit, maybe it's harder than I thought. But anyway, I realized, like, what is the point of being stressed at your job if you're getting paid the same amount anyway? And I think at that point was when I knew moving forward, I should try to find a job where I get paid for my value. Something like sales, something commission only, or like running a business, not a per hour job.
Yeah. Now, one thing like we talked about as well later on is that what goes on in Macca's is like, it's kind of like it's a high school in a sense. There's like drama
like
and shit.
Stuff, yeah.
There's social like drama going on,
there's
like a
beef and,
TV
like,
show. Like, yeah, there's beef between managers, beef between people, or people get into relationships and shit. And the weird thing was, this is just the reality of our store, was there was fucking pedos or like sus cunts who are working, like managers would try and get like,
it was mostly rumors. Obviously we have
Mostly
no
rumors,
evidence
like,
of anything.
yeah.
It's just from what we've heard. But
rumors, and it's like
yeah.
very, very suspicious behavior of like a manager who's like 20 plus trying to get in with like a 16-year-old. Usually it was like a guy manager that was 20 plus wants to get with like a 16, 15-year-old, fuck shit like that. Lots of it was rumors, but you know, they were like very, very suspicious behavior, like flirting.
It's gone to the point where
hanging out outside of work, like one-on-one. It was pretty weird.
Yeah, and it's gone to the point where people had to like move stores or even like get like let go because there was too many rumors or too much sus shit going on behind the scenes that they, and like was there like a restraining order or some shit?
I can't remember.
And like someone had to leave. It was kind of fucked. We were never in like the inner circle of our store.
Yeah,
we were pretty
casual.
Well known. We were casual,
but like we weren't full time.
We weren't like friends. We didn't hang out with them on weekends like in the inner circle. But yeah, so we're hearing all this shit.
Very suspicious. So we have a saying. It's like, if you stay there long enough, if you're a manager, if you stay there long enough, it's like naturally, statistically, you're gonna end up being some sort of pedophile.
Yeah,
like,
you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself be a villain. Or in this context, it's
it's like you die a hero, or
you either
die innocent,
you
or
leave
you like
as a normal guy, or you
live long enough to be a pedo.
You're there long enough until you're a pedo, and this is for managers, right?
Yeah, it's like if you stay there from when you're like 18, and then you keep staying there, and then all these new 16-year-olds come in.
Yeah,
those
it's
people
bound to
fucked.
happen, and it's
those
like
people were like,
yeah,
it just happened, right? And we sort of, it was mainly just rumors, but we did see like sus behavior.
Yeah.
And we even have one friend who worked there for quite a while.
Yeah,
and he
a close,
said like
very close friend who
he said
became a manager.
became a manager, never did anything, but he was saying that if he stayed long enough, statistically, because of the other managers, it's like maybe he would have ended up doing something like that. I mean, who knows? I don't know the full story. It was all rumors, but it's pretty fucked things that happened in Macca's.
Let's talk about just the overall experience and like where that led to, or how it helped us shape to who we are now. So I think
I recommend. Like, I don't regret doing it. We did it for 3 years, but then we were like on and off.
Also, something to know is like we lived very close. It was like a 2-minute walk basically from our house.
Yeah, it's pretty convenient.
Everyone from our school went to it, so it's maybe like a different situation for you guys, but for us it made so much sense to do it. Obviously there's a lot of other jobs that can get paid for more, but this one, it's like you could call in sick and no one would really care. Oh, they would, but it's like they can't do shit about it because it's Macca's, right? It's like they have so many employees,
and you're like 16,
and there's so many guys who are desperate for work and they'll cover your shift, so that was good. Yeah, working on a team was very helpful.
Just getting exposed to working at a younger age, like before you actually get into the proper workforce, if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, and
like while you're in high school, it was a good experience. So many people like didn't work in high school and they just didn't have that experience. I think it was definitely, like, I don't regret working there. We probably stayed there longer than we should have.
I stayed a bit longer, yeah. But
we moved house and then we still stayed there during like early uni days, but it was more like a casual thing.
Yeah.
And the cool thing was, because we were there when we were like in year 10, some of our friends we were friends with all the managers, so it was more like, oh, do you want to hang out? Like, there's all these guys working, but we need one more guy. Do you want to come? You can do the easy work. So we were friends with the managers and they'd say, oh, you can come work.
Yeah.
But it was cool. Like, they did some stuff. I remember we did laser tag with like 100 Macca's members from people we worked with.
Sick.
That was fucking fun.
Yeah, and there'd be a few gathers or like
they'd
gatherings,
have parties and stuff.
and like we go.
Or we
to
just know people because it's like you go to a random high school party and it's like, oh, you know them because you work with them at Macca's. So that was pretty cool. But aside
Yeah.
from that,
But I think we started at $11 per hour, and like compared to now, it's like just a perspective change. It's completely different. It makes us appreciate like how
like,
lucky
what we
we are
have,
now.
yeah, what we have now,
Because
and what,
yeah, back then we were making $11 an hour, like spending on V-Bucks, FIFA points. It was like, yeah, good old days. It gives us something to compare to now, and we're very appreciative of those days. Like we're proper in the trenches back then. I mean, sure we're still in
still are.
school, but yeah, we're still in the trenches. But definitely good perspective. Recommend if it makes sense. It's a good starting job, but as long as you know you don't stay there forever and you find something better,
you don't
it
become a
should be fun.
fucking pedo.
Yeah, don't be there too long because statistically, well, at least in our store, yeah, you'd end up going down that route. As we said, our friend left just before that, and he said statistically he would have been, even though in our eyes he would never, but statistically we're talking. But yeah, that's our experience working at Macca's or McDonald's.
Love to hear some comments on what you guys have in your stores. Maybe it's completely different. Like we were there for 3 years while in high school, from year 10 to year 12, and then we moved on to other jobs, which we'll talk about in another
Yeah.
video as well. So keen to hear you guys' stories, or if like you had a completely different experience. Maybe ours was like an anomaly situation. I don't know. We just worked in one store. I know Kansiv worked in like multiple stores. Maybe it's different. But any video ideas, let us know.
That's it for the video. Peace.
Leave a like, comment, subscribe.